It's skip week, which means that me and Peeps get a nice, lovely break, which is why you're listening to Bubble Lane from the Mario Odyssey soundtrack. God. And if you want to post, we might get to it, but remember, we might not get to everything. We got a lot of questions and life advice to get through. So the first one, if you want to stay anonymous, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just say like your like nickname or whatever on like Discord, so or Twitter or wherever you are. Tato asks, not sure if you're still doing this, but I have one. This was a little while back, or a couple days ago. But I have one that I think might be good. I'm finally done with my degree. I don't have anything left keeping me in my hometown, and I want to move away soon. Okay. Problem is, I've lived here in a fairly small town my entire life and don't really have that much experience moving. And I definitely don't have experience moving to a different state. My question, what are the best ways to handle a situation like this? Is it better to try and find employment before housing, vice versa? How would I go about finding roommates in a much larger community where I don't have very many social connections yet? That kind of thing. Ooh, great first question. Great. This is great.
Yeah, this is actually really good. Do you mind if I take this one?
Yeah.
Start with?
I'll jump in and stuff.
Okay. So first and foremost,
thank you for your question on Life Advice Hour. Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to answer this question for all of you today.
I'm not going to do the radio voice. Anyway, so this is a good question.
Let's go.
So what you're experiencing is, what are your what's your hierarchy of needs is kind of how I'm taking this. So the reason I put it that way is, I think in order to really answer all these questions, the first thing you need to do is figure out what are your foundational things that you need to have in line for you to feel comfortable. Because let's put this in my perspective. Oh, I see you sent me the message. Hell yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah. Just in case you ever need it. I'll delete them after we're done.
I think the most important, like if it was me, I would need lodging, employment. Like first and foremost, full stop. That is, I can't move. I can't even think about moving anywhere if I don't have those things like nailed down. Some people are like, I'll find a job when I get there, you know, and that's like, wow,
that's crazy for me.
Yeah, I can't do that.
But
I would suggest.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna quickly.
I'll finish that thought.
Yeah.
I would suggest, like, the thing that's gonna make you not able to focus on finding community, new friends, getting used to the new environment. The thing that's gonna make this a hell of a lot worse is not having your foundation laid in place. So, like, you need a stable income. You need to know, you need to know where you're gonna move. You know, those two things have to be set in stone. That's my opinion.
Right, because obviously, to jump on it a little bit, we don't know your like financial situation, which matters a lot, right? So like, if you have a ton of money, right, and you can kind of go wherever, then great. Like you do have the flexibility to kind of jump anywhere. But assuming that, you know, you're like a regular person who needs a job to pay for rent, like most normal, you know, not normal, but like most people in general, then I agree. And like you should first and foremost like have that set. And if you're second to that, I guess if you're looking for jobs to follow up on that, I would say if you have the ability to travel, not crazy, you don't have to go crazy, but just like an hour away, 2 hours away, 3 hours away, another state that's close by, check out areas, right? Like, go on like mini vacations if you can afford it. If not, just like a weekend, not even like a day trip, stuff like that, or just look it up, right? Like look up areas you like, because personally, I would love, and I personally recommend, of course, walkable areas. Like I love that. I love kind of the ability to walk to the grocery store, to bicycle to like the grocery store, etc. That's something that I really prioritize, and that matters so much to your mental health. If you love driving and you don't mind driving 10-20 minutes, great, then you can find a place that's more secluded maybe, or whatever, but that's what matters to me. And so when I look for my area, I'm like, okay, I like this place. It's 20 minutes from my job. I can walk to the grocery store, and there are cool shops and malls and community things I can try here. All of those things line up, and like what Peep said, priorities. What are your first priorities? And especially if you are, I think, let me reread this, done with your degree. So I don't know if you're done with undergrad or with grad school, but either way, definitely, again, I agree with Peeps that I wouldn't rush to a different place until you kind of feel you have the security to do so.
Yeah.
And then you can start doing, like, how do I find this? How do I find that? And let's say you do. So to answer those questions, how would I go about like finding roommates, for example? Roommates is tough. It is tough. I would say, first and foremost, look for your friends. Like, they're, unfortunately, like, it sucks, but they're so much more trustworthy than anywhere else. First, if your friends are available, like, if anyone's looking for a place, you just reach out to your friends and loved ones and say, hey, I'm looking to move here. I'm looking for roommates. Just wanted to give you guys the heads up first. And give them that option, and then move along if you need to places like, there are roommate apps. There's places like Craigslist, etc. I've personally never used them, but I've heard fine things. Normally, when you're looking for a roommate, if I had to look for a roommate, for example, I would probably look on those kinds of apps, like, because it depends. If you're trying to move into somewhere, you're gonna apply to be the roommate, because you don't want like like someone who might not mesh with you living with you, right? And vice versa. If you find a place, you can find roommates and kind of interview them and be like, hey, what do you do? Like, how late are you? Like, are you noisy? When do you eat? Like, things like that do matter, because it can affect your lifestyle, and you both want to kind of live comfortably. So those are the kinds of things you have to do.
Joining the polyamorous community, like. I mean, hey, I don't know you. Maybe that's your vibe. Who knows? But anyway, in all seriousness, I think this is a very normal thing to go through.
Yep.
I think, honestly, this is a very good question.
That's great.
Really, it is. And it's not just figure out your priorities. I want to clarify. It is figure out, this is the last thing I'll say about this.
Yep.
It is figure out your foundational priorities. It's figure out what you need to be comfortable and secure before you can start climbing up the hierarchy of needs and then doing the more fun stuff, right?
Miwa!
That is what I would do. So there you go. There's my answer.
Hi, Miwa. Hi, Miwa viewers. We are doing currently life advice. We are giving our chatters wonderful life advice. We just answered our first question. So thank you for the raid. Follow me here for fantastic life advice from me and my co-host Peeps. And guys,
Hi,
if you haven't heard of Miwa, go check out Miwa Bell. She does Yu-Gi-Oh streams and other games as well. I believe she's in her subathon, or at least I think she's still stuck in it. So it's very funny. All right, next question. Here you go. Hi, I'm Dawn, and I'm just tired. Fair. I felt quite an overwhelming sense of loneliness in my first semester. Oh, let me thank subs. Hold on. Zawardo, thank you for the gifted sub to Miwa Bell. Ludwin, thank you for the tier 1. Quantal, thank you for the 21 months. And I think Utopic Hope, thank you for the 11 months. Almost a year, let's go. And Potato Ratings, thank you for the Prime for 13 months. And Nair, OP, thank you for the tier 1 for 3 months. You're pretty awesome, Von Karma. Thank you. All right. I felt quite an overwhelming... I felt quite an overwhelming sense of loneliness in my first semester of college, which is almost over. Oh, I'll get to that, but I get it. This is despite me making more friends these past few months than I had in my past 19 years of life. Yup. I'm also being nearly as social as I can possibly be. Excuse me. Often spending many hours a week around friends. How do I overcome this feeling that I'm alone? Sorry, I'm getting over sickness. Do I just need to strengthen my current friendships more? Do I need to seek out a relationship? What should I do? Thanks. All right. Great question. Great. Literally.
Oh, man, this is a really good one, yeah.
Oh. I guess I'll start, and I'll lead to you. I understand. Absolutely get it. I did not feel like I was... excuse me. I did not feel like I felt alone for my first semester of college, exactly the same. I had friends, acquaintances, roommates. Hold on one second, let me mute. I had acquaintances, friends, kind of, people you found on your same floor, maybe clubs, etc., other things. But I didn't feel like I felt pretty alone still. I didn't really understand like what I wanted and like what I wanted out of college. And that's something I wish I could have like shook myself and been like, what do you want to do? And like sat there and like stared at myself and be like, what do you want? And what I really wanted, which I ended up finding out years after college, was that I wanted to do theater. Not for a living, but at the very least to up like my entertainment kind of like skills and subset of stuff. And in doing theater, like in school, I discovered people who I like now are my friends for like life. And I never felt alone at college. I was always with like my group of friends. And so that was one big thing that I realized like I wanted to kind of take a hold of and realize like what do I actually want out of this. And so the first time I felt like I really wasn't alone was when I did my first ever show. And so like the first semester making friends, and like I know you have friends, so that's great, but like it can still feel kind of lonely, is finding like the thing you want and getting like a community there. That will, I feel like, will really make you feel like, oh, I have this thing I love, whether it be like shows, whether it be I knew people who had like bands at school. I knew people who did this like college course of volunteer work where they like were a leader in like the group, and they became like such like close bonded friends. That's when I felt like I wasn't like alone anymore. I really felt like I was like, everything is okay now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fulfillment. It's fulfillment. I could just end the sentence there. I think what you're looking for is fulfillment. And typically when we experience a feeling of any sort of feeling of longing, we attribute that to loneliness. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, when we are longing for either a sense of purpose or we are longing for a sense of connection, the way we attribute that within ourselves is, oh, well, I'm around people. Why do I feel lonely? You know? Yeah. And I think there is a difference between having a lot of friends and having a community. Like I have all the people at my locals I go to, you know, they're not my friends, but they are, well, a lot of them are friends, but like the entirety of the people I go to locals with, they're not my friends. They are a community that I am in, you know? And it's not just locals, of course. In fact, it might even be better if it's not. It might be better if it's like a run club or I personally am not a religious person, or like a church that you go to, or like a community garden, or a yoga class that you are involved in. It really is that sense of purpose without just surrounding yourself in people and like friends and thinking that that's going to give you or to cure your sense of loneliness. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, it's not going to.
Yep.
So that's the first thing, is finding a nice, like a community to be involved in, where you feel that you are embracing that sense of purpose that you're longing for. And also, it is being comfortable with yourself. It sounds like, from reading this, it sounds like you do not have a lot of the comfort of being able to be by yourself and finding that time fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
So it's a feeling of loneliness from a feeling of longing. And I think you need to identify what you are longing for and put yourself in situations where you can alleviate that feeling. This is a very, and again, one of those things. It's just a very normal feeling to have.
Yeah, very normal.
It's a very common feeling.
Absolutely.
Very normal, very common.
I will also say, personally, I also thought I had like a lot of friends, and then I realized the people I was hanging out with, I just like, they just weren't good friends. Like they just weren't a group of people that made me feel like it was okay. And when I discovered like my core group of friends who I really vibed with, I no longer felt as lonely. And to piggyback off of Peeps' community things, the last thing I'll say is during COVID, I still had my friends, and we all were kind of isolated, right? So all of us felt a little bit lonely. But when I like had my community here on Twitch, it really like I found new people. I found people like Peeps. I found people like, you know, Coder, even my own chatters. Like I discovered like a ton of new friends in a community in a place where like I was okay. I was like, I have a ton of people who log on who want to watch me. And even if it was only 20-30 people at the beginning and now you're all here, that's like where I felt like I'm no longer like lonely. There are different aspects that you can still feel kind of lonely about, where like maybe physically in person or like you can't go anywhere, etc. But like those two kind of things, having like one, like if you feel like you have a ton of friends but you're like lonely, like really lonely, I would like test yourself and be like, would I trust, how much do you trust these people? And like test your levels of trust with them, like in your head, and be like, do you like, can I trust them if I had like an emergency, or like would I call them if there's something wrong? Like that's like where you can gauge your level of trust with them. And obviously you just met them at your first semester, but personally I found friends where like I wanted to hang out with them like constantly because it was, and they wanted to hang with me constantly. Because it was awesome learning about them and having those new friends, and I felt like that's all that mattered. And I was like, great, like I'll text like my group of friends, see if they're getting lunch, whatever. But I think Peeps hits it on the head really when you're like, you also have to understand, and I think this goes hand in hand with how I was saying, what you want out of college is understanding what like being okay with yourself and by yourself. Which means like if you're driven to do something or you want to do something, get something out of college. It is for you. Like it is supposed to be for you. That is something that I wish someone drilled into my head, that it's like, this is not to please your parents. This is not to like, I mean, it might be, but it shouldn't be to please your parents. It shouldn't be to like check off a checkbox. The perfect world is that college is for you to explore and figure out, what do I want? So try shit. You know what I mean? I want to get a degree. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the degree, of course, will come hopefully with your hard work. So if it's the degree, it's the degree. Extra focus, library study, find study partners, you know, whatever. But like, you know, I knew a lot of people who just like had like 4 to 5 core friends and like almost never left the library. Like, and that's fine. That's like what you need to do if you want your XYZ degree. But whatever it is, just make sure. All right, sick. Whew. These are crazy good.
Yep.
All right, next up. Thank you, Dawn. This one is from Sophie. All right. Here's a vague insight into the life and times of Sophie. Who the fuck is Sophie? Good friend of mine just went through a bad breakup. Uh-oh.
Okay.
And has been having a pretty rough time of it. I've been the main person supporting her through this. There are other people around her, but not too many she's comfortable talking to about this. Okay, cool. I'm sort of load-bearing. The problem is, I think I'm getting kind of burnt out. We've been having multi-hour conversations daily of her having a real bad time and some other stuff. I still want to help her, and I kind of feel an obligation to since I'm probably her closest friend, but I also don't want to get burnt out myself. How do you set boundaries with something where I care about this person and want to help them, but I'm not sure how much I can provide? I always feel selfish when I think about it.
Oh, I can go on this.
Go for it. Clear my throat.
I think the way to do it, the way to approach this, in my opinion, is just like, don't be a therapist. That's the biggest thing. You're not their therapist, right? And that's not to say like, well, you don't know them anything. You know, that's not what I'm saying. It's great that you're there for them, and you know, you should be, right? They're a close friend to you. You're a close friend to them. It's fine to be there for them. But it's also fine to be like, hey, you know, maybe we can talk about something else. Let's try to focus on something else. You know, we've talked about this a lot. I want to be here not only to help you heal, but to help you move on. And I can't help you move on if all we're doing is kind of rehashing what we've been rehashing this whole time, you know? And if they're your friend, they're going to understand that. You know, you are not their emotional container. You are a friend that's there to help them. And you're a part of the thing is like, in order for you to feel fulfilled in the friendship too, you have to do other fun stuff too. You know, they need to realize that in order for you to be a good friend that is going to help them through this time, they need to allow you the space to do the fun stuff with them, to focus on other stuff. Yes, you're going to be there to talk about how things are hard, but you also need to be leaned on for the other fun stuff too. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing. And don't do the fucking shit where you're like, oh, you know, because I just said emotional container, but don't do the shit that's like, oh, you know, I'm just feeling I'm just feeling like I'm feeling very like my boundaries are feeling very crossed, and I just think it's very important for us to maintain like just don't do that type. You're not a therapist, and you don't need to use overly therapized language to set a boundary here. Yeah. Just be like, hey, you know, I'm not going to be able to help you have fun stuff if all we do is talk about the way that this sucks. So we could talk about that, but let's go have fun. Like, we got to get our minds off this.
I think, absolutely agree. And I think that approaching the conversation is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And so I think that when you approach these conversations, it's always the hardest. But when you finally take the step and you sit them down, you're like, okay, hey, I just want to talk to you. I know you've been like, when you start off your conversation, personally for me, this is how I feel I can approach people when I need to set a boundary, is to comfort them and say like, nothing you're doing is wrong. I just feel like this way, and I need your help. So that we can maintain our friendship, right? So like when I would have, if I were to approach this friend, I would start off and being like, don't worry, this is nothing bad, nothing you've done is wrong, and I'm so happy and still willing to always be here for you. That being said, we've been talking about this relationship that you've been having for a lot, and I absolutely get it. I get and I understand how you're feeling. But I'm starting to feel kind of burnt out about this conversation because we've rehashed it so much, and I feel bad. I don't want to not listen to you. Of course, you're my great friend. But can we take some breaks on it? Let's focus on something else for a bit. Maybe find specific times to hash it out so that we can, like, let's talk about it this time, and then after like an hour or two, when you feel like you've gotten your system out, we can move on to other stuff if you still need to talk about it. And of course, if an emergency happens, all that to the wayside, like, of course, keep me posted. That's the kind of thing when you come in with honesty and you tell them like, you're not doing anything wrong, but I am starting to get, you know, now here's my feelings and I need your help to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I asked this Twitch streamer their advice, and they told me to do this. So tell them that too.
Yeah, definitely say that part. But honestly, the biggest thing is like you just need to be honest about the fact that they're not going to be able to move on from this if they keep talking about this either. Like, you are there to be more than their surrogate therapist. You are there to have fun with them, and they need to start having fun. Like,
let's
go have fun.
Yep, exactly. Just remind them that you're their friend first, and that like the point of this is to, you know, at least in my perspective, have fun with your friends, share positive experiences with them, and enjoy life with them. Not always be like, this is the bad thing that's happening. Now, that being said, when those bad things are happening, it's all they can think about. So talking to them and reminding them, like, I'm here to be your like friend. Let's do not just this. I would like to also, of course, do the usual stuff what we always love to do. And if you're not in the space to do that, I completely get it. But I can't keep just only listening to you about the relationship. I miss you. You know, I miss doing this stuff with you, and I want to keep that up. And I think a friend will understand. And, you know, you take it step by step, and they go, oh, that's like kind of like, that's upsetting. And you're like, oh, I absolutely don't mean to upset you by it. And I'm always still here to listen to you. That was never not the option. It's just that. You explain how you feel.
Yeah, and like, okay, shit. One other point.
Okay.
Maybe you have some stuff that you want to talk about with them, you know? Like, we've talked about what you've been going through a lot. And again, I'm super happy to help, but I don't know. I feel like because of how often we've talked about what you'd be going through, I haven't been able to lean on you for the struggles that I've been going through lately.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not mad at you about it. I'm happy to help you, but
because
I just think
exactly
it would. I don't know.
I'm not.
There are a lot of ways to go about it.
Yep. Just like there's a lot of ways you can just approach the conversation of like comforting them and letting them know that it's not their fault and that you're ready to help, but you also need help.
Yeah, and don't approach it like a surrogate therapist. Please don't say emotional bandwidth. I
don't have the emotional bandwidth to do this anymore. Shut up.
My tank is just so full, and
my deck box is too full to take this conversation.
You're putting a lot of extra sleeves in the once.
This one is from Bimbo, aka Himbo. I'm graduating uni soon. I hated my major, public relations. I didn't do public relations. I hated my econ major and coasted through for the most part while enjoying my film degree, based. Now I'm trying to get a job, something kind of related, but not something I directly studied, marketing. And I'm terrified I'm going to have an insane knowledge gap and that I'm never going to lock in. Is this, I assume, your like marketing job? I'm almost at the point where I'd rather get something completely unrelated. So I don't have expectations upon me. Any advice? I'm out of spoons.
That's a therapy term. It's so good. Holy shit. Sorry to jump on this one again, but I think I need to jump in on this one.
Oh, sorry. Woltz. Here's Woltz. How have sex?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Anyway.
You go gaga.
Go gaga. All right. I'm gonna be.
That's a good point.
I went to stream. Oh boy, I guess this is my sort of what's the term? My sort of animosity towards like modern therapized speak might give this away. But chat, I went to school for social work and mental health counseling. And oh man. You know, I can't. I really did think it was what I wanted to do. And I did have a lot of passion for it while I was doing it. But now I work in a completely different career field that I've never been happier. Here's what I'll say. Something that I've learned is even if you aren't doing what you love for work, what you do for work needs to be at a comfortable enough level that you can do what you love for fun. So even if you find a job that is neutral, that's positive. You can still do what you love for fun. And you can use the funding and foundation and security of what you do for work to help you find the way to pay to do what you do for love. You know what I mean? Or what you do for fun. That's the first thing. The second thing is, look, you can do a job.
Yeah.
if you get basic interview skills and you can just apply for anything. Fuck
I was gonna say,
if you didn't
like,
get a degree.
one thing I wish that I understood more. Now, I mean, the job market's rough, right? Like, it'll just always be rough. But,
Sure. Yeah.
But the one thing I realized working at kind of my first official job was that nothing I studied at college mattered. Not a single thing. And I think this is like a universal experience. Now, it's not 100%, but it is definitely some. Of course, I'm not really talking about like STEM style stuff where you really do kind of need to know like biology or even computer science. There's like languages, like you can't really like skip that. But for everything else, they'll teach you. If they like you, they think that you're gonna be a hard worker. They will absolutely teach you everything you need to know. So I would say that if you were something not directly studied in, that you're still graduating soon. So like I was like, wow, you're a baby. You have plenty of time. You can find like as long as I have interviewed and hired people. What I cared about was obviously experience is useful, right? If you've been at other tech jobs or whatever, I'd be like, oh great, they've had other support roles, they kind of understand what to do. But if they don't, I look for just that they have had experiences maybe similar or some kind of jobs or even their like college coursework that they are capable. And if they come into me and they're like, I'm gonna work like really hard, and we have a conversation, you match my like vibes, which is a culture check. I think I look at your resume and it screams that this person is a hard worker, regardless of what you do or where you do it or how you did it. I will teach you the role. As long as you are smart, many jobs will just train you. No worries.
All right, 1 second. Let me cat up.
Because and to make you feel safe about it, for example, nobody, even a fantastic marketer, would be able to jump into a new company without an understanding of that company's software, that company's goals, that company's mottos, etc., that company's like work culture, their ethics. You're gonna have to learn these things either way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking. A chatter said, I can't get hired. I'm not saying that, again, the job market is a different.
It's a whole different conversation.
Like, I understand. Getting a job right now sucks.
Yup.
It doesn't matter how awesome you are. You might not get a job. Even the most qualified people are having trouble getting jobs. People who have years of experience are having trouble getting jobs. So don't, like, I'm not trying to doom you. I'm just saying, like, the job market game, of course, always sucks. That's different. I am talking about when you're actually hiring someone. I've hired people who have, like, in tech companies who don't have, like, tech experience, but they've had experience, like, working retail or, like, at, like, an Apple store. And we almost hired a guy who worked as an Apple store retail support guy. No, he didn't know anything about the software tech industry, but he's dealt with angry customers, for example. And he seemed like a great guy, and he was vibing with us, and he had that and more stuff too, of course. But like, that's what I'm saying. So not the job market itself, but specifically, you're fine. If you find a job and they like you, and you interview with them, and you tell them like, I was a PR major. I've done some marketing stuff, and I'm excited to like do this and work for you. You're in. Like, if they let you in, don't worry. The skill gap, you will be okay. I promise you. You are. If you're a smart individual, which I believe you are, you'll be completely fine. I think that like coasting through college. I understand the scare. I understand the fear of like, oh, I coasted through school and like I didn't really like think about these things. It's okay. Just get yourself afloat, find what you want to do, and pinpoint, apply, and go crazy. You'll find somewhere. Well,
and I'm just gonna be honest. regardless of whether you coasted or not, or studied every little letter of every single assigned reading and everything, it doesn't matter. You're going to be a deer in the headlights when you get your first job. It's okay.
Yeah,
Who cares?
It's true.
You know what? Most people, the thing that they look for when somebody starts a job is that they show up on time.
Literally.
I shit you
oh my
not.
God.
I shit you with my whole butt not. Seriously. All they give a fuck about is that you show up on time. Just show up on time.
All right, next one. This one's a toughie. Even in my older age, I'm sorry, this is from Lilypad.
Sure.
This one's a toughie. Even in my older age, I'm having trouble wrangling with it. But aside from just luck or knowing the right people, how does one actually go about figuring out what they want to pursue as a career that you both can survive off of and somewhat enjoy, especially when you still don't quite know past your mid to late 20s or even beyond? I'm especially interested in y'all's answers to this because of where both of you seem to be career-wise. Well, when you figure it out, let me know. No. Did you answer last one, or did you start with that one, or did I? I forgot.
I think I did. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
Our anti-work. Oh, let's go. Wait. When are the stupid questions during interviews going to stop? Hell yeah. Okay, I'll read that in a sec. So I guess my immediate answer to this is, I'm sorry. Like, I think that I unfortunately don't have a fantastic answer for you, but what I will say is I think that I would not look for a job where you're trying to, like, quote unquote have fun. I would try and look for a job that just makes you feel decent. You go to work and it doesn't have to be super fun or anything. It doesn't have to be like amazing or whatever. It doesn't have to be like the dream job or whatever. But if the job itself is something that doesn't make you want to put your head through a wall and you're making decent money, I would use that as your safety and say, I could do this. How long could you do this job? And say, I could probably do this job for like a couple years, 4 or 5 years. That's the kind of job you need to kind of look for. And for me, for example, I worked as a teller. And when I was a teller, the job was actually okay. It was not too bad. The problem was the pay. I couldn't stay there because it was like $15 an hour or something. So
right.
They promoted me to a mortgage warehouse assistant. And I was making $30,000 a year. Not great, but I was salaried, so that was nice. That job made me want to put my head through a wall. It was easy, but I hated every second of it. When I became a customer support agent at my newer job, it was fulfilling because it just felt good to help people. It's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't like a dream job. And there were points where it kind of sucked, but 80% of it, I was like, the days flew by, which matters a lot. And if your days aren't flying by, kind of like, whew, a lot of work to do today, and you just like go, and you're like, oh, it's the end of the day. That bingo. That is a job you should value. That is something I realized when I was working at my old job that I like really value so much. That if I can get through every day just kind of working through, that's the kind of job where I will survive off of, and I will find the fun stuff later. I think like if you want to achieve something, maybe, for example, content creation or very kind of estranged jobs like theater, dance, painting, art stuff, those are like very nondescript, very hard to make a living off of. I would say step 1 is to make sure you have the first thing I said. Step 2 is to then, like, if you want to try and find something much more fulfilling that is also your job, that's where you kind of try and mesh with your hobbies that maybe become your job. Now, that being said, I think there's no perfect answer to this because IMO, no job can be the like fun job you want it to be. As soon as it's work, it's work.
Yep.
Anyway, continue. You're. I spoke too much.
I mean, yeah. The Denny has said a lot of points that I absolutely agree with, of course. And I don't disagree with any of them. This is not setting up to be an argument here.
But
Uh,
he's Latin.
Fuck this guy.
X.
True. I'm racist now, apparently.
I mean,
no,
more
it's
racist.
Oh boy. I think another question you might be asking, is finding what you want to do. Not even like finding a fun job. I think a question you're also asking is like, how do I learn what I want to do?
Yep.
And this is something that a lot of people don't do anymore, is talking to mentors, finding mentors.
Yes.
Like
absolutely
people who are out there doing careers, that have done careers for a long time, and you just want to talk to them and figure out what they do, you know? How do you start those conversations? I don't know. Family members you might know. Maybe your parents work at like a coworker that has been there a long time and you want to get in touch with them to learn about the job. There's a lot you could do. But Danny is right. You know, I'm always a big believer in find something that supports your foundation, so you can figure out what you love, because you never want to be worrying about money when you're trying to figure out what you love. That financial struggles will fuck over all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's you know, find a job that doesn't fucking suck, and then look for mentorship opportunities. You know, that kind of stuff.
You spend 2/3 of your life working, so if you don't like it, you're wasting your life. I think, yeah, like is of course the pivotal word here. You don't have to love or even like it that much, but satisfying, or at the very least, like, you know, it's work and I don't mind it. Like, that is okay. Yep. That's something I wish someone was like, find that at the very least, because if it's that, you're not wasting as much of your time. At the very least, you can use that maybe as a transition period or whatever, or just like you're okay. You just, like, for me, I was so okay. Like, even with the last couple of months of my work, I wish I was like, I just want to go to work at 9, do awesome work till 5, and just log right off and just be like a monkey. Like, if I could just like do my monkey work every day, it was awesome. And I kind of got that when I was in QA. But you know, after that it became a little harder, so it was tough. But because then after 5, I was doing all the things I loved: streaming, going like YouTube, making videos, editing stuff. Now I do it for my job, and it is great. I think it can be possible to find the thing that's semi-fun and semi-work. So at Uber, they ask you if you're an asshole during the interview process. Please be real. And if you say no or hesitate, they reject you because they only want people with no ethics working there. That's so...
Oh, that's gotta be a joke. That's gotta be a joke.
It has. I hope so. Oh my god.
Oh god. No. Okay. That's real. Yep, I was there.
All right. Oops. This is from... Wait, I think this is from CJ. My dad was dating this woman who was living with him for a while. It's real. Uh-oh. My dad was dating this woman. I kind of believe her. I'm not going to lie to you.
Probably, yeah.
My dad was dating this woman who was living with him for a while. And the only thing I could say about her was that she was like fully poisoned by TikTok. Oh, okay. Yep, I know many people.
Nice.
One thing she would do was constantly start up fad diets that she'd see on there, and they were always wonky. Like, if you're this blood type, you should only eat these foods, or if this is your zodiac sign, here's the diet you should eat. What I'm wondering is, it's awesome. Should I have said something to her? Was it my job as a person who knows her to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be constantly shifting from diet to diet every time you see a new TikTok? Or should I have just let her live her life as an adult? I've never really had a conversation with her. It was just stuff I passively saw while she was around. Honestly, no. I think you're fine. I think you are absolutely fine saying nothing to her. This woman, I assume, is an adult, can make her own choices. It sounds like you weren't very close to her. So, like, maybe if you were very close and you were talking all the time and, you know, you had a good, very, very good relationship, maybe I would bring it up more as a concern of like, hey, I'm really, I love you, and I want to make sure you're okay. I think this might be a not healthy thing. But if you're not very close with them, I don't think it's your duty to tell them to do this,
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
I
mean, at the end of the day, they're an adult, and they are making choices that they want. I respect where this question is coming from, because it's like, clearly this is stuff that you are pouring your brain into that's just making you miserable, in the context of you speaking to this person. Like, it is quite obvious that it's quite obvious that what you are doing is how do I say this? Like, if you were speaking to her, you would be like, it's really obvious that you are, maybe you're concerned about your weight or concerned about your health, and you're looking for a lot of answers that could potentially, help you feel better. And you're investing all this time into stuff that's actually genuinely hurting your health. But at the end of the day, they are an adult human being, and they can make those choices. I think I'm taking the long way around to say this. Either decision you could have made would have been fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think either one would have been fine. Personally, I think it was completely fine for you to not say anything.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think either decision you made was the right decision.
She and my dad broke up.
So.
She hoarded herself in his guest room till he forced her to move out, and she cost him his deposit on his apartment by making it a mess. Okay. Never speak to this woman.
Awesome. Yippee. Okay.
All right. This is anonymous. How do you know when or if it's a good idea to change jobs if you have a good one? Ooh. Good question. I work in tech, and I've been at my current company for approximately 2 years. At the moment, I feel comfortable where I work, and I'm making good money. However, it feels like there's an expectation in the field to change companies, whether for a raise, to get more experience, or just try something new. I know before 3 years is definitely too early for me personally, but what signs can I be on the lookout for down the line that a change would be good, especially in the tech field, and how can I make sure I don't handicap myself by not moving? Other ways to grow, I guess. Okay. You can go first. I think I went first.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A lot of jobs.
First of all, just genuinely, how do you feel? I think, first and foremost, if you are totally fine, everything is going well, there's no concerns, there's not been like, well, we could really use your performance to improve or anything like that. Like, if there's not been any red flags or any problems like that, and you are genuinely happy, if you are happy, and I mean this as anything a 6 out of 10 or more, then that's fine. There's no reason. Just because there is like a sort of a soft expectation does not mean you have to listen to that shit.
Yeah.
But there is also a desire for growth, is something I understand.
I get that.
There was a 4-year period where I had 3 jobs. And in each one of those jobs, I increased my salary by about $12K. It is just a data point where people who move jobs at a somewhat more frequent rate
get paid more,
get a higher salary, get paid more. Yeah. Now that does come with its downfalls. If you change companies more, you also are kind of losing the long-standing company benefits that you might have established with them. So there are negatives to doing that. I'm not saying always chase the money, right? Or I thought you meant at the same time. No. I'm saying, like, in a 3-year period, I worked, like, I had, or a 4-year period, I had 3 different jobs.
Right.
Like, I worked at a job for 1 year.
Period. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, okay, that was fun. I got a new job. I worked at the job for about 1 year and 2 months, and then I got to my my 3rd job, which is where I worked at that job, and then got hired into that company for a different, whatever. My point is, there are positives and negatives to both sides of this. If you feel that you are looking for upward mobility, that's a conversation that you can have with your supervisor. You know, it's a mentorship conversation. Like, hey, I've been in my role for about 2 years now. I want to discuss What are the possibilities for, moving up? I'm not asking you for a promotion. I'm just asking you for some mentorship. What do you think? And then that is a conversation you can have with them. If your supervisor is a good one, that's one that they would not feel uncomfortable having with you, if that makes sense. But the biggest thing here is don't feel pressured to find a new job. If things are going well, they're going well. Fuck it.
I had a lot of people in my work where they were just like moving like crazy. Not that that's a bad thing. Just I saw a lot of like my coworkers move, and I was like, I'm pretty comfortable. I like my job. I'm really good at it. I'm getting paid pretty decently. I don't really have to move. But here's some telltale signs. As like big company changes. If you are seeing things that are like not aligning with things that you and this, like, let's say nothing bad happens to you, just that like there are shifts in the way the company works, like that is a flag that you should note. Because I personally stayed through a lot of like these flags at like my company. Not that they were bad or wrong, just big changes. So that's like a telltale sign that it might be time to move. Your pay raises are bad. Now, obviously that's like a bad thing. And if your pay raises are bad, it might be time to move. That's also a flag though. It's a big flag because sometimes it's not bad. It's just not enough. Not enough to meet your needs. Not enough because they're not honoring you as a worker. Like they're not treating you right. Like that might be time. It's time to go. And when you start feeling like work is like a chore, it might be a flag. You should move. It might be like it specifically where you're like when you start to dread to work subtly. You might not notice it. I've had this where like I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work. That's not good.
Yeah.
Like, I should want to go to work, or at the very least, enjoy the fact that I'm making money, right? Like, I'm like, even if I'm like, oh, I don't like work, but like I'm making money, so hell yeah, let's do it, right? Like that's, and so if you like, in the next couple of years, if you see like some of your favorite coworkers all kind of leave at once, giant changes, 0 pay raises to you, 0 recognition to you, 0 like things that are happening, and it's year 3, 4, even 5, it's time to move, because moving is just all positive for you, literally. Like, like it is just so good. If you are good, it is like right now, for example, you can test your market as well. If it's like it's like, I understand the job market sucks right now, so like obviously moving would be kind of, it would not be great. But if the job market's like really good in a year or two, and like you're getting offers out the wazoo, and you're just talking to people like kind of low key, might be time to move. Something I wish I kind of did earlier in my career was I should have done more interviews. Like, even if like for nothing, like never leave my job, just do more and see what these people were offering. Because if they offered something that's like brilliant, that's like actually meets my needs, better work environment, much more pay, I could say, hey, it's time to move.
Yep. And you can also come to your company and be like, hey, I just want to let you know I've been interviewing. I wasn't really looking. I was just kind of checking out the job market, and I ended up following an interview path, and they offered me this role for this amount of money. It is this amount higher than my current rate of pay. Is there any way, I don't necessarily want to leave, but I can't necessarily down. Is there any sort of negotiating we can do?
Yeah, because it's like, this is kind of life-changing money for me. I have to take it. And if they say, oh, we can't offer that, and you go, okay.
Okay, kick rocks. Bye.
No, yeah, literally, like, and that's okay. Most companies will be like, all right, sad to see you go, but I get it. We get it.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have another anonymous question. Hold on one sec. Okay, life advice question. How do I ask someone I dated as a teenager if they want to try dating again now that we're both actual adults, because it's been so long since we tried dating that I think we've changed enough as people that it could work out now when it couldn't work before. How do I say this without being creepy and obsessive? I haven't ever gotten over you, and just how to ask it casually and not be creepy about it, so that like it doesn't come off weird or wrong when it comes to romance.
I mean, that's normal. I mean, people get back together with people that's literally my wife and I. We dated once before. It didn't work out. We had some time away. We saw each other again, and we sparked again, and we tried it, and it worked, obviously. So, I don't know, like... okay, how do you start? How do you start is your question, and that is a good question.
Yes.
Just spark conversation with them. I think, okay, here's the thing I think you should not do. I do not think you should reach out to them with the sole purpose of, well, I want to date you again. Okay, like, whoa. Like, I think you want to start, by reaching out to them. A person you did not know reaching out to me and just be like, I want to date with you. I want to date you. Like, no, you want to get to know them.
Yeah, any
if
person
you acknowledge
will be, like,
if you acknowledge
guard, right?
the fact, yeah, exactly. If you you are right now acknowledging the fact that you are both different people. If you are acknowledging the fact that you are both different people, that means you do not know this person, and you would need to reach out to them, and get to know them again. And you would do that just by shooting them a message. Starting the conversation off by being like, yo, I've been thinking about how we used to date. Like,
yeah, I honestly, you have to realize that you're both such different people. You might as well be, this might as well be a new person you're talking to. You just can't imagine it like, it's just something that happened. So, like, you just have to approach them like you would any person you actually like. And get to know them normally, hang out, ask them out normally, like, hey, I've been really enjoying hanging out with you. Do you want to like hang out sometime? Do you want to go on a date? I know it's been a while since we've like we're like friends. Like, we've changed people pretty much, so I'd love to reconnect. I think just starting there and then being like, since we're totally new people, I kind of want to rediscover you. And when you start from there, I think it gives them a lot of breathing room to be like, oh, we're friends with this person, right? Like, they were cool before, and it was such a long time ago. Of course, we don't know the history of like what happened, right? So like, if it's, I am assuming that the relationship was completely normal and positive. And it just was high school or something, or when you dated as a teenager, like, that to me really just like does not matter. In fact, they might not even remember. Like, I like, genuinely, it doesn't, like, for me in my brain, dating as like a 13-year-old or 14-year-old just doesn't count unless you dated for like years, maybe. But like, high school even dating, that, it's man. Just, it doesn't matter. You're such a, you're an adult and you're such a different person. I assume, on the question, but like, you can absolutely approach this like they're completely new people and be like, yeah, like, oh yeah, that was like, I forgot, like, oh my gosh, like, right, we like dated in high school for a bit, like, that was crazy. But like, I'd love to get to know the current you, and know that that's like, that's in the past, as long as you're very casual about that,
That's the biggest thing, is you have to be casual about it. I think that's okay. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, chat. You need to convince yourself that you do not have the sole motivation that you want to get in a romantic relationship with them again. Because the very real reality might be that you don't want to get in a romantic relationship with them again, because you don't know. As I just said, you have acknowledged that you are both different people. You do not know if you want to get in a romantic relationship with them again. So you need to remove the goal from your mind that you are going to be dating them, and you need to just take it from, like, we should hang out sometime and catch up.
Yeah.
Let's grab coffee. Boom. Easy. There you go. And if you find out that you like them, then you like them, and then you pursue them just like you would any other normal person that you are romantically interested in.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna power through a couple of these because I have to go pretty soon. Probably like 10 minutes. Okay. All right.
Sure.
This comes from. I can't see the name because Discord won't show me it, but you know who you are, L something. I've been struggling with losing weight for the past several years, despite my efforts to put in lifestyle changes. I get it, dude. I'm still dude at MB. I haven't been a particularly physically active person for most of my life, owing to habits when I was younger. I get it, as well as the nature of my job now. Yep. For the past few years, I've been cooking my own food whenever possible and convenient. Cut out basically all snacking. Any soft drinks I do consume are diet or zero sugars, and I've been maintaining a schedule of going to the gym 3 times a week. Great stuff. Despite all this, my weight has remained the same, around 190 pounds for years, and I'm not sure what else I could be doing to try to finally lose it other than exercising more and counting calories, which I'd rather avoid doing if I could. Oh,
understandable.
I'm so
Very
sorry.
understandable.
Understandable. You should probably count calories.
No,
you don't have to. You don't have to. But personally, I found that very helpful because it made me realize less about the counting, more what things had like thousands of calories that I just did not even know. Like wings, for example. I had no idea I had like thousands of calories. They're calorie bombs.
Yup.
And you just can't eat that. It sucks.
You know what else has a fuck ton of calories? Peanuts.
Oh my
Peanuts
god, peanut butter.
Insane. It's insane. Okay, and I'm not trying to give everybody a fucking eating disorder by talking about this. So sorry that we're talking about calories right now. But
I'm just saying,
here's
it helped me realize, okay, I can portion control a little better. Like maybe not eat this lower calorie thing, or eat fish, for example, or something else.
Yep. Here's what I will tell you. Whoever this person who submitted this is, if you've tried calorie counting and you know it doesn't work for you, it gives you a terrible mindset.
Right.
It's awful.
It sucks. It does suck.
I totally understand. It does suck. Some people, when they are extremely into the minutia of calorie counting, it's all they can think about. It's just all their brain will let them think about, and that fucking sucks. I've been there. I count calories a little bit. I don't do it very much. I just kind of somewhat keep in mind what I'm thinking about, and I just try to stay around a general range. But this is where I'm going to be very honest with you, and this is where I'm going to be very honest with everybody in this chat. I, in the past 2 months of my life, I would probably say, no, probably about a month and a half. Yeah, a month and a half. Have started taking a weight loss medication. And I, as I'm sure a lot of people in here know, am a very active person. I go to the gym very regularly. I've been going to the gym extremely regularly for the past 5 years of my life. I think even more at this point. All this to say, there's a lot that I've been doing. There is, and it's not just weight loss medication too. I also, by going to the doctor, I've realized that I have hypothyroidism. So that makes it so losing weight is extremely hard. I would strongly recommend, if you can, speaking to a medical professional, because any stigma that exists about either weight loss medication or going to the doctor about weight loss or anything like that is going to not feel as important. That stigma is not going to feel as important as how you feel by taking hold of your health. There are healthy ways to lose weight. There are healthy ways to be active. There are healthy ways to be fit. And sometimes speaking to a medical professional is just a good step, it's not even with the goal of losing weight. Just like inquiring with your doctor, Like, huh, why is it that I'm struggling to lose weight? Here's what I eat. Here's my routine. Here are these things. Is there any way we could do some blood work done? I would like to check my hormone levels or whatever. I don't know. It's just conversations that you can have with a medical professional that aren't even with the goal of losing weight, but just bringing up to them, like, I've noticed this about myself. Is this something I should be concerned about? Is there anything we can check? That is a very good that's a very good goal. And ever since I've been on this weight loss, and no, Chad, it's not Ozempic, but even if it was, who cares? But it's not Ozempic, but it's a different weight loss medication that I've been on. It's not even just my weight that it's helped. It is many other aspects of my life. Yeah. My focus, my happiness. I don't feel like I'm constantly starving like I used to be. I can't eat as much food as I used to be able to, so I'm not eating the $60 of Panda Express by myself anymore, like it's just sometimes it is okay to get a little help. It's the same with mental health as it is with physical health. As long as you are speaking to a medical professional and just keeping your mental health sane when doing this, it is very important. There is nothing wrong with going to talk to the doctor. Like I said, the biggest thing is that you do not want to give yourself like a horrible depression bomb because you're constantly like, constantly like thinking about your weight loss. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah. I think also note your nature of your job. I assume you're like a sit down job, like an office job or something like that, where you just don't move. I get it. I've been there. One chatter mentioned it's not just like exercise at the gym. I hate to say this, but like a 10,000 step goal every day matters a lot. As soon as I moved to a place where I could walk to everything, I've consistently done like, not only do I go to the gym every day, and I'm also stuck too. So take this with a grain of salt, but walking around a lot during the day, forcing yourself to just do a walk around your neighborhood, walk wherever, then going to the gym, it's a lot of calories that you're burning, a lot of exercise, a lot of trimming that's gonna happen. 3 days a week is great, but like, unfortunately, I think like doing some kind of like cardio or something like that does help a lot because it cuts your calories down. Like something I've noticed, of course, this is more calorie count for me personally, but it does work for my brain, is just like I've noticed I can do lower calorie meals, much higher calorie burning things like walking around all day, and then a like treadmill walk of 45 minutes helps me stay under because I ate like a pizza or something, or I ate like a burger or fries. Like those things are just like such giant bombs to your like health. So like you're doing the right thing, but I think like upping the game a bit more, like pushing yourself to at least say to yourself, I gotta do this every day or every other day. Like obviously don't like depress yourself over it. Like if you need skip days, cheat days, it happens, and we have life, right? Like things happen, but part of it is just consistency. It starts in the kitchen, of course, and it starts, of course, I think outside exercising. I saw the most weight loss. Stress matters a lot too. You could, if you're in a terrible place in your life, that could absolutely lead to weight gain. I know I lost 20 pounds after I broke up with my ex. I started doing like Just Dance at home, and I walked more. I started doing 0 sugar sodas to cut the calories from there. I started cooking my own breakfasts, and I lost 20 pounds. And from there, I've slowly, but like weirdly, have like fluctuated between like 180 to like 170. And like my consistency is just that I like need to be more consistent about like what I eat, when I eat it, and like exercise. I'm almost done with like the exercise. I'm pretty damn consistent about my exercise. I just need to be a little stricter because I love eating out. Like I am such a glutton. Like I love pizza, pasta, pepperoni, like fucking the worst of foods. But switching those, I'd say like switching the axis on what you eat making sure you move. You gotta move more if you're an office job. It sucks. You just gotta move your body. Keep moving it. Force yourself outside. Like, walk to the store. If it's a 20-minute walk, do it. Like, force your body to walk to the store. Walk back and say, that was a 40-minute walk, and I went to the gym today. Like, crush it. That's where you will break that wall. It sucks because it just feels like you can't do anything. Like, push yourself even harder if you want that to break through those jobs, because especially if your job is not moving stuff around. I know that, like, I was at like peak prime when I was in New York, walking, going to the gym, and like walking to my work, walking back, going to the gym, eating better, like eating salads for lunch. I felt like fantastic. Sleep too matters, of course, as well. There's so many things, so just keep track of those kinds of things. Sleep more. All of these stuff are things you can work on, and of course, Peeps has given me advice on these things. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you're really reluctant to like go see a medical professional, and I do get it, like maybe you just literally, it could just be like, I don't know if I want to start that, or it could just be I don't have access to a medical professional. Then then exercise more days in the week than you don't. That's the best piece of advice I can give. Is just whatever you're doing. Be active more days out of the week than you don't. Your goals should be 4 days a week,
Try 4. What worked for me was a slow increase. I'm like, okay, I did 30 minutes of cardio today. I'm going to do 33 tomorrow. I did 33 today. I'm going to do 34 tomorrow. I did 34 today. I'm going to do 35 next week. And then now I can consistently do 45 minutes of like 4 miles per hour on like an incline of like 8 every day. And like, that's what trims it. And I, of course, I also walk. Like, all of this is calorie cutting, and it gives you that breathing room to like live your kind of life and try and make healthy choices if you can. If you don't want to count calories, just be like, if you're gonna like, I know it's easy to say it, but like, what works for me is if I want something yummy, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll switch this pizza for sushi because it's fish, rice, raw. Like, it's not like processed, right? It's definitely healthier. Not fantastic, but small choices like that really do matter.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect to have so many questions. Okay, so we got through most questions. There are a couple left in the Discord. I think there's only 2 left in the Discord, and there's a couple online. We'll save these for next skip week.
Deal.
How's that sound?
I love life advice. I love life advice segment. It's great.
Hell yeah. I hope you all enjoyed life advice. Thank you, Peeps, for sticking around for life advice. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
You. You are a fantastic life advice guy. I love sharing your advice with the world as well. Peeps has helped me during COVID and many others, and I hopefully can also offer my life experiences. So if you all enjoyed it, please follow the channel. Follow Peeps at twitch.tv/PeepsYGO. He's inching ever closer to 6K. I believe he reached 5K recently.
5K.
Good shit. Dude.
Shit rocks.
Proud of you. I'm at 15,000, close to 15,300. Hopefully I can get to 16,000 soon. Follow me, follow Peeps. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Here, Wolf. Bye. Bye, YouTube.
Night.